Hi, everybody. It's October. So today we're going to take a closer look at something scary: Zombies, the 2001 game published by Twilight Creations. In this video, I'd like to share my top 10 modifications, adjustments, and rules variants you can try with the third edition base set. I'll start with a very brief overview of the core rules, so at least we have some context for the variants. I will then list what I think are the main pluses and minuses of the overall design, and then I'll cover all the cool things you can try with the base game to make zombies better and to keep the fun going. So, this is a plastic mini D6 roller with Take That card play. The object of the game is to escape a zombie onslaught, reach the center square of a helicopter pad terrain tile, or be the first player to drive off the zombie threat by killing 25 of them. Characters start on a town square tile. You shuffle the helipad tile into the bottom half of the terrain tile draw deck. You deal 3 event cards to each player. Each player has their own character mini, and everyone gets 3 heart and 3 bullet tokens, and that's about it for the setup. Randomly determine the play order, and this turn sequence goes as follows: players draw and place a tile. The streets have to line up. If there's a zombie in the same square as your character at the start of your turn, you must resolve combat in your space before you can do anything else. And this involves die rolling and may include card play. Next, a player draws their event cards back up to their hand size. Movement follows. Roll 1d6, add the number of your heart tokens to the total, and that's how many squares your character can move. Everything is supposed to be orthogonal, there's no diagonals. Then you roll 1d6 for zombie movement. The die result is the number of zombies you can move, each a single square. And finally, at the end of your turn, you can discard 1 event card if you have something you can't use or you don't like. Some other details worth mentioning are it doesn't matter who draws the helipad tile. Person with the least amount of zombie kills up to that point gets to place it. So that's supposed to be a catch-up mechanism. The terrain tiles tell you how many zombies to place on them, as well as how many bullets and or heart tokens are in the named locations. Only 1 zombie is allowed per space, and the same goes for heart and bullet tokens, which are only ever inside the buildings. You can place door tokens on buildings so you have limited access between what is inside or outside. Generic street tiles get zombies at each street exit. Now for combat resolution. It's dead easy. Get it? Players have to be in the same square as a zombie to fight. You roll 1d6. On a 4 to 6, you kill the zombie. If you roll under, meaning you get a 1 to 3 result, you must burn individual bullets to raise your 2-hit roll up to 4. Each bullet equals +1 to your roll. So if you fail a roll and don't have bullets, you must remove a heart token, and you re-roll using the same process. Combat will continue until a zombie is dead or a player is out of heart tokens. Definition of death. If you die, you are supposed to respawn at the town square and restart with half of your zombie kill total. You can play event cards during the course of the game. Follow the instructions on the cards. Anything can happen. They can award weapons at specific locations, or they may cause a calamity for another player. Many of these can be played out of turn sequence, but whatever happens, you can bet it's going to feel tremendously thematic. So overall, how does the gameplay come off? Exceptionally well, in my opinion. I'm way above the general consensus. So here are my positives. It's straightforward and easy to learn. The instructions are crystal clear and very well written. I know it's a simple game, but still you can tell the way everything is presented is done with professional care. The components are chunky and substantial, and the signature look, the graphic design, whatever you call it, is so impressive to me. These dudes like Akins and Miller are top level artists, in my opinion. Everything is stylized, realistic, but cartoony, gross, and humorous all at the same time. And that's not easy to pull off, but they do it. You just get your money's worth here, and it's not even expensive to buy. As far as negatives, I think there are a few minor ones. Combat in this game without a weapon card is a 50-50 proposition, so it's difficult and it feels a bit too abstract. Is everyone supposed to have handguns at the start of the game? If so, it's not clearly stated anywhere in the rules introduction. Anyway, that's number one. Number two, the event cards, especially with higher player counts, can disrupt the flow of regular gameplay. You could be 1 turn away from entering a building with vital supplies. Someone plays a hysterical paralysis card. Okay, now you're stuck outside. Someone else plays Butterfingers. You just lost an item. Next person plays We're Screwed. Add 9 zombies to the tile you're on. So you could feel like, what's the point? Like, this is impossible. I'm exaggerating a bit. It's not always like this, but oftentimes you'll see these ill-fated chain of events play out. Luckily, there are ways to mitigate this issue, which I will cover when I get to the mods. So number three drawback for me is the respawning feature after your character is supposed to be dead. I find it unsatisfying, so I modified this aspect of the game. A lot of other people changed this too, actually, I think. And lastly, there is a double edged aspect to the living rules nature of the zombies world. The endless expansions are welcome. There is unlimited extra content available for this game, yet I feel the later expansions offer diminishing returns. Even if you can find at least a couple of good cards or funny ideas in each spin off, I really do wonder if all of them are worthwhile. So, most people rate zombies here, but I'm up here with this title. I really like it. The pluses by far for me outweigh the minuses. So now for the mods. The first one doesn't even count as a number on my list, but I have to mention this as a matter of course, and that is the game seems almost calculated to produce fan-inspired cosmetic upgrades. So if you go to BGG, look at the images people have uploaded over the years. If you need ideas with respect to painting minis, adding micro machine, vehicles, and other props and toys, all these things will go a long way to enhance the immersion factor of your gaming experience. My personal favorite is a guy, Leonardo Armand, who painted his player tokens to look like Chuck Norris, a punk rocker, and one is even wearing a Michael Jackson Thriller leather jacket. And I'm just blown away by people's creativity. Who wouldn't want to play with that set? Unfortunately, I have zero skill when it comes to painting. The one model I add to my game is a Matchbox rescue helicopter I had as a kid. I repurposed it. It seems to fit right in. Anyway, my first official upgrade, and these are going to be arranged by order of ease of implementation. And this is a rules adjustment with respect to player movement allowances. So a lot of people online really pick at the randomness inherent in roll and move games in general. So it's probably not surprising Zombies gets tarred with the same brush. It's just a function of modern sensibilities, I guess. If I get it bad movement rolls and other players get good rolls, how am I supposed to win? The movement rules aren't fair. I think life isn't fair, even in a make-believe zombie apocalypse. But if this aspect of the game bothers you, you can just change it. Lots of people do, and you can try an official suggestion that appeared in an expansion that I will discuss a bit later. So you roll 2d6 instead of 1d6 plus heart tokens for your movement allowance. This can help. Or better yet, say a player's base movement is something like 2 squares or maybe 3 squares per turn, plus the number of health tokens you have. So there's no die rolling at all that way. There's no luck. It's entirely up to how well you're doing. The cool thing is, whatever you decide on, it will work just fine with your zombie setup, guaranteed. Speaking of the bad guys, what about their movement? There is dice there too. So the haters of randomness have various suggestions here as well. The main one is to say, instead of rolling a die to determine how many zombies you can move on a turn, make it equal for everyone. Just say on a player's turn they can move 3 zombies each 2 spaces, period. So this is another adjustment that speaks to fairness. Whatever. These mods work well. I don't use them all of the time. It really depends on the group I'm gaming with. The next modification I'd like to talk about, I do use often, and I think it makes zombies more interesting, and that is reducing each player's event card starting hand size. Not 3, not 2. I'm talking about 1 card to start. A mod I will discuss a bit later builds off this concept. I'll get to it. Still, try it out. You're exposed to really, really difficult choices with this variant. It's not just chaos gaming anymore. You draw an excellent weapon card that is location specific, like the chainsaw. How long do you hold on to it? Can you hold on until you find the hardware store or garden center? You don't know. You might find yourself discarding some potentially powerful events, hoping for something with a more immediate effect. Initially, my group experimented with 2 cards at the start of the game. We liked it. Then we said, let's try starting with a single card, and we liked it even better. So yeah, even though less commonly played cards seem to have more value with this setup, so give it a try. I dare you. By the way, early on, around the time Zombies 2 came out, the designers were suggesting an official rules amendment. No more card draws after helipad placement. It wasn't just our game group that was thinking along these same lines, dialing back the event cards. Anyway, another permanent modification for me is scrapping the respawn rule. I never really cared for it because it felt too video game-like. And for now, hey, we're in the tabletop universe. I went on BGG looking for a solution, and a couple of users had the answer. Yugblad and Bloody Sloth created an awesome endgame Uber zombie rule for killed player characters. So if you don't like the idea of respawning, consider this endgame variant. When a character loses all their heart tokens, they become an Uber zombie. I painted a few of my normal zombies red to represent the turned player characters. Uber zombies move 3 spaces per turn, and they can move and pass through standard zombies. A player with a zombie character moves all zombies even on a player's turn who has a living character. They just cannot utilize cards or tokens. Zombie players can only be killed on a modified combat roll of a 7. So you need to have a lot of bullets or a weapon to kill them. A regular 1d6 combat roll isn't enough. You might have to just run until you can come up with a solution. So that's really fun. When a new Uber zombie dies, the player may then start a new or different character. If an Uber zombie kills the last human character in play, then everybody loses and then the game ends. And I really like this idea because players get a chance to play out their zombified self. It's just better in my opinion. So now we will move on to some mods that involve a bit more player investment in terms of time and effort. So now is probably as good an opportunity as any to discuss official expansions that you can obtain for your base game. There's 16 different official expansions that I'm aware of, at least. So let's say you want one or two of them to spice up your original set, but you aren't interested in spending a lot of money or buying everything. I don't think you need to. Pretend you could only get one official expansion. Which one would it be? So leave a comment below. There's so many choices, but I think I know which one is the best. It's Zombie Corps. The first sequel, Z2. You get a set of National Guard compound terrain tiles, heavier weapons cards, and there's a surprise government conspiracy angle or feature included. I don't want to spoil the surprise, but it's great. And it feels like every zombie movie or show like The Walking Dead, where everyone needs to find out what's up with the National Guard or military, because we all know that when the zombie apocalypse drops, you have to raid a military depot to increase your chances of survivability. Now, if you are college age and you tend to game on campus, then I would probably recommend Z5, Schools Out Forever, over Z2, The Core, because I think you'd really appreciate some of the humor in the event cards, in addition to the added guts feature. So these are my favorite official expansions. If you are a big fan of the game, as opposed to a casual fan, then by all means just get any of them. It's Twilight Creation, so at least you're guaranteed their high standard in graphic design. The next mod I recommend for the base game is the use of the Guts tokens from Z5, even if you don't have the official expansion. On BGG, you can download the token images or just make your own. So the Guts are a fun addition, especially if you lower the starting event card hand size like I do. You simply discard or draw event cards up to your Guts level. For every natural 1 result rolled in combat, adjust Guts down by 1. For every natural 6 result rolled on a 1d6, adjust Guts up by 1. Guts represent the number of event cards that may be held by a character at the end of their turns. So it's a pretty simple addition that just adds a bit more detail to the base game. Another cool expansion I like and use are character cards that you can get off BGG. And there are at least a couple of different styles you can get. I prefer the ones designed by Vornargith and Organizer. They repurpose some of the original art, and the cards offer up different startup stats and health, bullets, and guts according to who you're playing. And they all are really funny. There's like a soccer mom, a nerd, taxi driver, karate school teacher, Gulf War veteran, the list goes on and on. So just print and play, laminate, it's worth it. While you're at it, you may as well download and print a set of player mats. The ones I like best are by Vern 1980. These are handy player aids that help keep all of your components organized. They fit in the box and they look great. Another thing you can get for free online are fan-made terrain tiles. The one I added is the lighting store. This acts as a safe house because zombies aren't supposed to like bright lights. No regular zombies may enter. The artwork looks official. I can't even tell it didn't come with the original set. Other ones that I have seen include a few completely like bombed out building terrain tiles, a Quickie Mart convenience store, and there's even the coffee shop from the TV show Friends that someone made. So it's all pretty funny. And lastly, the best thing you can do to modify your base game is to go print and play shopping online for different event and weapon card ideas and images. There are custom weapon cards, unofficial and official event cards. The official card backs are available to download online too, so that's not going to be a problem. Your options here are unlimited, so pick and choose, mix and match whatever you like to compile your own custom draw deck. That's what I did. A few of the ones I found that I like are the M16 automatic rifle. It's a powerful ranged weapon. And the Uzi submachine gun, which is an auto kill weapon, but you have to roll to see how much ammo you burn through with each engagement. So you can run out pretty quickly. And of course, I added the relatively recent social distancing promo card, which is pretty funny. And that's 10 really good mods you can get for an already solid game. And I know what you're thinking. What about zombie circus clowns? What about animals? What about zombie kids? The more fringe stuff I feel is fine too, if that's what you're into. I'm just trying to demonstrate ways you can improve the game fairly easily and inexpensively and still keep things compact and manageable. Should you get the Ultimate Collector's Box? That's a tough call. It's really expensive. I see people wanting a ton of money for that online. So that's up to you. In conclusion, I think Zombies is a great game because it's so simple and fun. I one paged the entire rules, even with all the mods I use. It looks like this. And the amount of fun you can have with this, something so straightforward, it's incredible. The signature look of Twilight Creations is iconic. There's nothing else quite like it. The artist deserves so much of the credit here. The late designer deserves a ton of credit. You can see and feel the inspiration of Sam Raimi's Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, Bruce Campbell, all the Scream Queens. They all come through in the imagery. The game just oozes B-movie horror atmosphere. It is massively supported by fans who have contributed an unprecedented amount of free add-ons, content, mods, and ideas for different ways to play the game. As of the time of making this video, there are over 170 files of free content and downloads that you can get off BGG. So I strongly encourage you to always reconsider classic Zombies for your next Halloween gaming session. The base game is fine and it takes well to modifications. And just like it says on the box, this one's a no-brainer. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more content coming soon.